Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about some educational movies. Specifically, there are 4 movies that I've watched before, and I'm gonna pick some scenes of each movie actually, and I'm going to relate the scenes into some theories that I've learned before in classroom management class. So take a look at the first one. This movie tells about a teacher who got noisy classroom in which the students are very noisy, naughty, and uncontrollable. In order to get their attention and make them involved in learning process, the teacher does something that they like. For instance, the teacher does karate, and the teacher used some words that the students are familiar with, so the students can learn what the verb is. For example, like I choose to die. In this scene, I could relate that the teacher has done boosting interest by immersing herself to do karate with the students. The teacher tried to find their interest and put it into the learning process as long as they can understand the topic of the day. The second scene, the teacher has done social acceptable skills. It means that they are not only learned in the classroom, but they also have to socialize with other people. For instance, as you can see in this part, that the teacher asks her student to speak politely with the waiters to make sure that he could be confident.
And when the waiter comes back, you may as well talk to him. It'll be good practice for your summer job interviews.
I can't talk to that guy. He probably thinks I'm weird or something.
He does not. He can't help but notice your natural charm. You just look him straight in the eye and you talk to him like you would anyone else. Now go ahead and call him over. Go ahead. Just give him a little nod.
And next, I'm going to talk about Mr. Ron Clark's story, which tells about an elementary school teacher who teaches a really noisy class. Well, basically, I like the way he manages the class. He makes many rules, as many as possible, and stick it in the whole wall of the classroom to handle the class. While those rules do not work as what he expected at first, so he keeps trying and find many rules, as many as possible, and stick on the wall. But unfortunately, there is a student who is really uncontrollable named Semekia. So Mr. Clark sets rules that if the students want to get lunch, they have to stay in line. But Semekia doesn't listen. So Mr. Clark says if Semekia doesn't want to be honest that she's out from the line, all of you guys cannot get to lunch. So it works. By the end, the students listen to him, especially Semekia. While through the scene, I can see how Mr. Clark uses logical consequence to manage the students in this age. And the second scene that I'm going to talk to you is when Mr. Clark wants to teach the students using song. He wants the students to remember all of the presidents of America by song.
Now let's get down to some presidential learning. We'll start with George Washington, straight from Mount Vernon. first president and commander-in-chief. Fought the Revolutionary War so we could be free. John Adams was second, Thomas Jefferson third. When we fought for independence, their voices were heard. When in the course of human events, we took a stand and we've been doing it since. It's a tribute to the leaders of the USA. It's a president's rap. All right, okay, okay.
It's a tribute to the leaders of the USA.
It's a president's rap.
It's the president's rap. All right, okay, okay. Tribute to the leaders of the USA.
It's
The president's rap. All right, okay, okay.
All right, back to your seats. Back to your seats, please.
It's the president's rap. All right, okay, okay.
And fortunately, at the end of the semester, the students can pass the examination and they get the highest score compared to the other classes. And next, I'm going to talk about Mr. Holland Apus in 1999. This movie tells about how Mr. Holland teaches his students who have problem in playing musical instrument.
Okay. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all. Miss...
This student doesn't know how to play a clarinet at first, but she keeps trying, so Mr. Holland gives her extra time like an additional lesson after school. Then at the end, she could play the clarinet very well and she could graduate. Last but not least, I'm going to talk about Sister Act movie in 1993. This movie tells about a singer who becomes a teacher. As well as the other movies previously, this sister got a very nosy class. So she tells to the students that if you want to learn, stay. If not, then you can go. She does this because she knows that the students need to learn how to sing in a good way. So she's very sure that if there are students who go out, they will come back to learn. Well, by seeing at this scene, I think it is categorized as logical consequence. And I think it is very appropriate to manage students in this age by using that logical consequence. Finally, by applying these techniques, the sister can manage the class and teach them how to sing until they win a competition.